Hello and well, I gotta redo that intro. I missed the W. All right, we're gonna play that back. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome everyone to a very special episode of the Still Sane podcast. I am here with an incredibly unique guest, my dad. It's Dad Tri. I think that's what we're going with for today.
Dad
Tri. There you go. Dad, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing excellent. I'm doing really, really well.
Also,
had a great day at work and ready to participate in this online thing that you have going on here. I think it's awesome.
Thank you. Yes, everybody is well aware that you are an avid Path of Exile 2 player. I have no qualms with talking about that on videos, on podcasts. Might upset some people. A lot of other people think it's super, super cool that you play. And many know that you are actually a bigger blaster than I am. So
I am a grinder.
We're going to get into all that today. But first, I think people are yearning to know, what are you going to league start as? Because you're playing tomorrow, 4 p.m. You're going to log into the queue. You're playing, and you're going to try to beat me through the campaign, which you might actually do. So what are you going to step into playing?
I am going to iron ass this thing and run. Although I got a standing desk now. I just put in a standing desk so I can really master blaster.
That's going to be
I'm
good.
choosing between monk because I really enjoyed monk on the first go around. And of course, the power person that I am, Deadeye.
All right.
Deadeye is, it's the power of all power right now. I think
it's pretty funny. Before all the Deadeye meta stuff came out, we talked and you were like, Deadeye looks pretty strong. I think I'm going to go Deadeye. And then all the videos dropped from all the content creators, and you're like, aha, look at that. So, what do you think? Are you going to go like spears, bows, something else with it? Are you going to try unarmed?
I'm actually going to do, if I go Deadeye, I will run ranged bow, and I'll do the ice combo because I'm not a great Twitch player when it comes to the tier 3, tier 4 bosses. So the freeze mechanic and snipe is something that is very attractive to me. So I'll probably run that type of a build, some kind of a control freeze build for the higher level bosses once I get there. And I might even go the open hand. It's possible. There's a lot of really good looking synergy there with a Deadeye with open hand as well as Invoker. So I'll probably dabble into a few of them. I'll do more than one character. You already know that.
Yeah. Multiple characters in the endgame, both in 0.1 and 0.2. Probably going to happen in 0.3, especially
into the 90s.
Into the 90s. Late. One of them in the mid 90s too, which is pretty respectable.
One in the mid 90s, yeah.
I guess we could talk briefly about that too. So everybody got to understand, my dad has some serious street cred in Path of Exile. So Dad, let's talk first about 0.1. First time ever playing Path of Exile 2. What did you end up playing, and how far did you get in the first league?
I ended up playing Monk in the Ice Monk and Ice Strike and loved it. I got to 94, did all the way tier 4 on all the bosses and had a great time. There were some bugs and there was some choppiness, it's a beta. So, but I really loved the game and enjoyed it. And I ended up actually playing, 3 characters into the 80s and then 2 into the 90s. And ended up really liking the monk the best. And it was a power. Awesome. So much fun. So fast. So quick.
The pops.
And I really enjoyed the play. Yeah, it really did. Yep. I really enjoyed it. I love the movement. And WASD was the sealer for me when they decided to do that. I knew I'd play this game.
Yeah. It's huge quality of life. So
for me it is.
I was playing Tempest Flurry Monk on my end, and when I came over one day and you were like, you need to try my Ice Strike. And you were right. It felt so much better than Tempest Flurry. It was ridiculous. I just went around, was flashing to all these mobs. It was really, really fun. So
well, the Herald feedback was, it is what it is for Clear, but it's fun to watch. It's very impressive on the screen. Very impressive.
Yeah, it was big pops, just like in 0.2. What did you end up going in 0.2? I think I
did the power build. Oh yeah, I did the Lightning Spear Serpent, and it was It felt like cheating, but boy, it felt good. I love builds that feel like cheating.
See, so Path of Exile 2 is the game for you. That's like classic PoE.
It is.
Especially when they're beautiful.
For now.
Right, I know.
Yeah.
So
I enjoyed that too, because, Lightning Spear, I mean, with just the aesthetics of it was fantastic. And then the ability to, take down the tier 4 bosses. And I completed the Atlas 100%. So I also completed it on 1.0, the whole thing.
He's put me in my place in both patches. So when did you complete tier 4 Arbiter? Was that just last week, right?
Well, I waited and waited. I was waiting. I've been waiting for probably 2 or 3 weeks or so to determine when I wanted to go ahead and execute it. And work got in the way and some other things. And I decided to just knock that out and take those. And I know they did some updates, because I got a bunch of, I logged on to mess around with the stash tabs. And I got 28 points back, and there's a bunch of things inside the stash tabs. I don't know if people see it, but it's remove only. So I'm guessing there's going to be some significant changes, which we've seen in the patch notes for the stash tabs, which is very exciting to me, because I'm a trader. I'm a trade leaguer.
Okay. Yeah. So just to, you can boast a little bit more. How many divines were you sitting on at one point? I mean, because you were grinding Trials of Chaos, and you
Yeah, I had about 65 or so. I was selling soul cores and playing the market, and was able to juice up that Deadeye Lightning Strike Serpent build to maximum potential, or pretty close.
Tier 4 Arbiter, how fast did you kill it again?
15 seconds.
Oh,
maybe 20.
Dude, that's insane. See, because mine took 5 minutes and 0.1.
No.
It's like
no.
It's like
the most time was waiting for him to go to his next phase. That was the most time.
Did you have to do any immunity phases, like the hallways?
Oh no.
What is this?
I don't do that.
What
I'm old.
This?
I'm an old man. I don't have no Twitch.
Oh God. We did try to do a 6-man Arbiter with my dad, my brother, a few of our friends in 0. It was really fun. We did not down the Arbiter. People were not doing the hall phases, so it was really no. Okay. I'm curious. I want to build on the trade thing just a little bit. So obviously there's a big quality of life change coming in the game. Thoughts on the trade website versus having the trade in game? Because as a new PoE player, what's your take on it? Is this a big quality of life? Do you not care? What's your thoughts on it?
I kind of like the interaction between players, because I did meet quite a few players when I was trading with them. Some of them would interact with you, and I also liked going, and we'll still go to somebody else's hideout, which is kind of cool. I like checking out people's digs, because some people do some unique things with their hideouts. So I guess we're still going to do that, because we got to go to their hideout in order to get to their vendor. But I think there's a lot of frustration and a lot of, a manipulation of the market that was going on that will be pretty much gone. There's still some ways that they can do that, but in general, it's going to put a damper on that. And I play in odd hours. I typically play early in the morning. I'm an early riser. I get up, at 5 o'clock in the morning. I always have. And I play for about an hour and a half in the morning before work. And I interact with a lot of Southeast Asian players typically are on at that time, or maybe some Europeans, some folks from across the pond. And there were some language barriers on that. So I think that'll help me.
Yeah.
It'll help with the bots or anything else that's going on out there. So I think it's a positive change. I think it'll bring more people to the game, which is the, goal, I believe, of GGG, is why they capitulated on this thing. They're looking bigger picture. And I would agree with that decision. I would have still played the game if they wouldn't have made this change, but I am happy.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be a really good quality of life change and save a lot of headaches. And you're right too. As someone who plays late in the league too, did you notice that trade interactions kind of fell off, or were you able to continue to trade it? Yeah.
They just weren't online, or they were, or they, or AFK, or that kind of thing. So I do believe it's going to make it a better league for you if you like trading. I know some people don't like trading, but I am a trader. I do like that. I interact with the trade system quite a bit. That's how I juice my players, or my characters, my tunes, using currency and, buying low, selling high, buying low, selling high as part of the market. I do the whole, that whole thing. And you can get some things that way. And then I grind, and sell high.
Absolutely.
If you can.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm stepping away from Path of Exile 2 just for a second, maybe giving everybody a little bit more of a broader context on your gaming background. what games did you enjoy playing either growing up or, you know, when I was growing up, like what games did you play back then?
Yeah, I don't really like board games per se. I
Yeah.
really liked role-playing games. Gary Gygax and Dave Anderson are kind of childhood heroes of mine because of their imagination. I always had a big imagination. Love sci-fis and read, you know, Lord of the Rings many times, and The Hobbit was my favorite book as I was growing up. So I was a dungeon master. I started playing Dungeons and Dragons in 1979 and created my first character, Rovan. That's why I think my tag's on there, Rovan. But I've had a Rovan in every game that has ever been created that I've played, Pathfinder as well as Dungeons and Dragons, every version of it, all the way through the latest 5e. And then I started playing, you know, computer games in 1988. They came out with something called the personal computer. So I bought one at the PX. I was in the service at the time and loaded it up. It was called Pool of Radiance. Was the first real Dungeons and Dragons game. Then Curse of the Azure Bonds. And you had to have floppy disk drives.
I have those.
And load it. There was no such thing as. Do you?
Yep.
Do you still have them? Yeah, I brought them home from the service.
Yep.
I got them in Germany. So, so you know that was a long time ago. 38 years, 37 years ago, and I've played really every single role-playing type of game, you know, along the way. My favorite is Dungeons and Dragons 5e. If I had my druthers, I would play the tabletop version, but with Modern Life, it's very difficult.
It is.
And then the AARPG genre kind of hit me with, you know, with Diablo. We played it together, you know, when you were younger, and I did play D4, but so flashy to me, and you know, kind of a little bit too much marketing and some other things that were involved into it that I liked it. It was okay. But man, I like PoE so much better.
Good take here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's true.
Could you expand on that a little bit?
PoE1. Well, PoE1 was too complicated for me. You know, I tried it and I, you know, I played it and I said, whoa, man, I don't know. I got work to do here and grass to mow and things to, you know, grandchildren to see some every once in a while. So I'm busy. You know, so that takes a lot of cycles to try to learn that game, I believe. And I think that they're hitting a pretty good balance for somebody like myself and some of my peers, people that are maybe still gamers, that are in their 50s and 60s and still want to play. I know a lot of them. And there's actually some of them on PoE that I've met and some peers at work, because I work in the technology industry. I have my whole life, that enjoy the game too. They like PoE too because of some of it's more user friendly and it's a little more intuitive, but still complicated enough to stimulate your intellect, right? Exactly. You still have to think, you know, but not so much that it gives you a headache.
No, you don't want that. 100%.
Right.
Yeah, they have a good middle line.
You know, I think it seems, at least for me, they've hit a good middle line, and we'll see how it develops. You know, it's under development. That's what's going on right now. They're making changes all the time, and you know, my expectations are for them to continue making balance changes. They're reacting to input from everything I've seen. A lot of the asks that people have done over the last, you know, 6 months or whatever are in this patch. You know, they're damn close, you know, except for Druid, right, son?
Yeah. There's no Druid. No, you're well aware there's no Druid. Everybody knew.
I wouldn't play it anyways.
I know. It was in all of our text messaging chat. No Druid.
Now, swords, they need swords. Somebody better get some swords in there so we can get a Rovan sword guy.
Exactly. I think that's going to be next. I think it's going to be Druid. It's going to be Duelist and Swords, and you can live out the Rovan dual-wielding fantasy.
I do that too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's been a good ride. It really has. And I'll be continuing playing and investing in it. I do microtransactions, and I like the looks and different things. You know that I like styles, and seems like they could do some more there if you really asked me. Some different things with the appearances, and you know, some more flexibility on that. Maybe, you know, color coordination where you can dye things or whatever. I think there's some advancements in that area that they could make. I think there's some advancements in the character sounds, if you could pick voices like we did in Neverwinter. Right. You remember Neverwinter Nights? We ran a Neverwinter Nights server for years.
Yep. Dragon Mountain. Yep.
Dragon Mountain, man. Dragon Mountain.
Yeah, it was awesome. The voice lines are so memorable in that. I still quote the voice lines to this day. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, you brought up a curious point there that I'd love to hear from your perspective, because every time I talk to you about the reaction from a lot of content creators in the scene and people getting really heated about there being problems in the game, right? You're always a little flabbergasted that people are
I don't get it.
So intense about it, right? So from someone who doesn't make content, just watches it, plays the game, enjoys it.
Well, I think it has something to do with my technology background, right? So I know what the development lifecycle looks like.
Mm-hmm.
We deploy lifecycle applications and we do a lot of work with that. Matter of fact, that might be work right there. Go away. So once you look at something like that and you see the complexity of this, as well as all the inputs, you have a lot of different opinions of which way this game should go and how it should go. And you have a lot of people pulling you in different directions. And, and I don't know that they have stakeholders or what kind of a company GGG is or who owns them or how all that works. But they seem to be pretty open to their own path in development. And they do seem to react to criticism, and as well as taking that criticism to heart and then making changes, which is unusual because I've been playing computer games, like I said, since Pools of Radiance, and that's from 1987. I've been playing computer games a long, long, long time. And these folks appear to be listening and reacting, maybe not in the way everybody wants, nor should it be that way necessarily, but they are reacting and they are making what I call a yeoman's chance to try to satisfy people's needs and that kind of thing, and still keep the game fun for everybody, right?
Yeah. I agree with that take there. I think that's one facet that people don't often think about. It's putting themselves in the game developer, or just software developer's shoes. I work with simple systems, much simpler systems, and it's still a hell of a time to push out updates. And there's always issues.
This is a global. This is a global system that's up 24/7 and across many different time zones. There's a lot of complexity involved in this. There's some networking complexity, which is one of my specialties. There's some cybersecurity issues that you have to deal with anytime there's microtransactions, and and the in-game trading, as well as everything that you have to deal with the economy and the the whole reset idea. You actually introduced me to PoE in PoE1, and I watched you play and the whole reset concept and the rush. Like, we're going to get the rush this weekend, right?
It'll be fun.
And and it's the rush that I used to see you do, and I was like, man, I should try that, see if I can beat him.
Probably gonna
not
beat
that we're
me.
competitive. Not that Dad Tri and Talkative Tri are competitive or anything.
The
Tri family might have some competition.
He smoked me this league. I think I have 2 passive Atlas passives, and my dad has the whole tree down. So,
well, I'm a grinder though. You're more speedy than I am, but steady. The turtle finds the way.
I know. I'm the hare in this scenario. It's true.
You are. You run by too many things, No loot. No loot can be left behind.
I know. Okay, and I'm curious. So you pointed out, they're reacting to a lot of issues. I'm curious, what do you think is one of the things that they could work on from your perspective? Do you have any one single thing that you would point to that you'd love to see them work on? Oh,
I believe that they have addressed one of the major issues was the trading system and the abuse of it. So I think that was a kind of a difficult deal stopper for some folks that I've talked to. It would not have stopped me personally, but I think that there are people that are in my age group, and older gamers, that really don't like that concept, especially if they're very busy, sitting around waiting for somebody, getting frustrated, looking for something that you want. You have the currency, they want to sell it. No, they don't. Yes, they do. They reprice it. The weird thing that was going on with all of that was frustrating for a lot of folks that I know, that I talk to, that are around my age.
Yeah. Creeping up the price and everything. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, either that or just not responding. Sending whispers to 100 folks because you want a map and none of them respond, and then all of a sudden 10 of them respond right in a row. So it was kind of a weird thing and a waste of time. And that means I'm not gaming, and that means I'm not getting something else that I need to get done.
Exactly.
We're all busy here, man. The modern world requires us to do a lot of things. So when I have my gaming time, I really would rather game.
Yeah, Path of Exile 2, I feel like is becoming more and more a a hardcore game that's accessible for people who also do other things, and that's a concept that I keep trying to push as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
It
feels like it to me,
right? It does, because we do a lot of different things. We all spend time with our families. We have jobs. We do a lot of different things. We have other hobbies too, like you hunt. You know, you travel everywhere. Right? You fish. And we're able to play this and have a really good time. And like the more features that they add like this are just opening up the potential audience that much more. So their total addressable market is much bigger.
Bigger, exactly. And you know, and if you don't want to do that and you just want to grind it out and that's what you want to do, it's there for you. They're not down. You can do that. More power to you. Go for it. But there are people out there that have RL, that they have to deal with things, and they would still like to enjoy the game, and they have money for microtransactions, which, you know, at the end of the day, this has got to be monetized one way or another. And, you know, my group, you know, 50 to, you know, 65 or whatever that group is, you can call them, you know, dads, tri-dads, whatever. But my group, there are a lot of gamers in my age group.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they could be loaded too.
Right? WoW converts. I know that's a dirty bird word, but you know, there's a lot of different games that are out there that people are sick of playing, and they might just want to sit down and run some maps, you know, for you know, an hour in the morning before they go to work and have to deal with that, or you know, run for an hour and a half to, you know, before they have to, you know, go off to some other duty that they can't get out of. They can't sit there for 6 or 7 hours and game straight through, even if they wanted to. Now, I'm making an exception this weekend.
It's me too, dude. Yeah, me too.
I mowed my grass.
And at Thunderstorm, did you get mowing in before the thunderstorm started?
Yesterday? I did. Yeah, everything's done. Yeah,
I got screwed.
It's all done.
My yard is not good. It's flooded right now. So I'll get it after.
You need to come home every once in a while, you know, visit. And
I know.
You know, go back and just remow.
Yeah, I know. My daughter, she wants to mow. I've talked to her. So once she's able to mow one of them,
I'm happy about that. I hope so.
Get on the thing, start freaking going. She can get the true experience, because she's not going to get the true experience with our backyard. It's not nearly as big as it's tiny. So
it'll be a minute. You know, I'm very particular about the grass. You know that.
I know.
You got to have straight lines and stuff. So
geometry.
She's got to ride along. We're going to do some ride-alongs,
I know.
Right?
Geometry is important, right? Yes, I know. No, I remember. No, because I remember a certain brother that was also planned to be here tonight, but he is playing Pathfinder. I mean, his geometry was not the greatest when he was growing up, so I had to take care of that.
Yeah, he's got a commitment. I got to give it to him. You know, I did talk to him, and he was like, you know, I got a commitment.
It's true.
You got to respect people for their commitments. You know, he's got other people relying on him. He might be the game master. I think that he is. So.
He is. He's the game master.
And that's something I always enjoyed is being the game master. That's why I liked Neverwinter Nights so much, and the DM client, and all the experiences we had together playing that game, role playing. So.
What would you say is, if you could choose one? I don't think I've ever asked you this. What's like your favorite video game that you've played? Would it be Neverwinter Nights or something else?
It would be Neverwinter Nights 1 because of the DM client and the ability to script, because I'm a scripter too, good enough to where I could create my own content, my own items. Remember the green steel items we created and the crafting system that you know, one of our Padres created, and you know, all the different development people that we still game with. All of these people in Neverwinter Nights, which was from, I don't know, how long ago was that? 10 years ago?
Oh, that's what?
20 years ago?
2002 or 2003 Neverwinter Nights.
Whenever it was, we still know many of them, and they're on Path of Exiles 2 now.
They are. Yep, they might even be guests in the future. They're all playing PoE2. They played tons of games over the years. We convinced them to try, and I think all of them are really enjoying it too. So that's cool.
They are
really cool.
But they're not grinding like Dad Try.
They're not.
Dad Try is the grinder
all the way through to the end. Okay, here's
to the bitter end.
Here's another question. It's going back to the casual, the argument that people make for Diablo 4. So a lot of the times, I don't know if you've seen this, people say, okay, well, Path of Exile 2 is only for the hardcore gamers. Anybody who's casual or has a real life, well, you should go play Diablo 4 first. That's one of the big arguments.
There's not as much flexibility. See, that's somebody putting their thought of a gaming and a good gaming platform on somebody else. You shouldn't do that. Just let people play the way they want to play, and you know, it'll all work out for everybody. the difference between this game and Diablo, a primary difference is flexibility. The ability to create a character in the way that you want to create it and advance it in the way that you want to advance it. It's very different, these two games. They're in the same mold, right? The AARPG, but they are very different games.
Yeah.
As far as the ability to create your character and customize your character. So why should I be denied that opportunity because I have a real life? That's not cool. So, let's all be cool to each other, man.
Yeah.
Be positive.
Yeah. Oh, hey, not too positive. We don't want to do that, right?
I am a very positive person, as you know. And that is something that is, to me, near and dear. It's catchy.
Yeah.
And it's worked for me my entire life. And, I like to be a positive influence on others. It's important to me.
Yeah, no, it has helped me a lot, and it's kind of inspired me to also be that positive influence, and hopefully a lot of people that are watching right now. So speaking of people who are watching right now, if you guys want to throw some questions in the chat for Dad Try, I'll read through them and we can maybe ask a couple of the questions too. Omega Cybers, if you see anything cool, just DM me, okay? We have a few more things I want to go through though, Dad. So, okay, so one thing that I'm kind of curious about. So creators that you follow, I think one of the most interesting things was, I think it was maybe 4 months after 0.1, we were at your house or our house, and we were looking at YouTube, and I saw your creator list, all the people that you subscribe to on YouTube. Do any of them stand out to you as, super helpful?
Yeah, I really like DM. I've watched DM for a while before I really joined PoE2. I think he's a cool dude. From Alaska up there, and I like the way he handles himself. I like Asmongold and some of his commentary, not just on gaming, but across the board. And I watch. Actually, I've seen Rex today, and he's kind of coming back into the game, looking at it, what he's going to do and that kind of thing. So I think it's just entertainment.
Yeah.
And I do follow guides. I might change, some of the things to the way I want to do it, but I'm not a number cruncher and just sit down and crunch all the numbers and do all those things. And I'm also interested in, people's take on the state of the game from different perspectives, because obviously I'm going to listen to Try and I listen to your perspective. But I'd like to see what others think and what the general feeling is across the board. And I think the majority of the creators, they can be little harsh from time to time because it's a beta game. I look at it a little differently than most. I think people are looking at it like, oh, it's a finished product. No, it's not even beginning. It's probably a year and a half away. All we're doing is feeding data. We're the hamsters in the machine feeding data into the system to show them what needs to be done, which I will gladly do because the portions that have been put in front of me, I like. So I'm going to run them.
What do you enjoy most about PoE2?
I think the grind.
The grind.
Yeah. I think the idea of, if I continue this, a lot of times I'll grind soul cores, which doesn't really bother me. You know what I mean? I'll just do Trials of Chaos over and over and over, and then at the end get one of those really good soul cores and run over to convert that over to divines, put them into chaos orbs, instead of keeping exalts and playing the little game on the trade, and and getting to a point where I can then go after the gear that I want, because it's very hard to farm the gear for me because I just don't have the hours. But it is not as difficult for me to spend some time grinding if I'm efficient, getting enough currency to where I can purchase on the open market the things that I want. So. But I've always been a grinder, even in all the different games. I remember. Baldur's Gate 3, which was one of the best games I've ever played in my life recently. I've been through that, quite a few times. And that is another role playing game, turn based, very different than this. But I'm imaginative because I come up with creative names, and I have. What their background is, and do all kinds of things like that. Or I have tribute characters, like Jito Feck is somebody that I know very well that practices martial arts, and what they do and their influence on my life. And I have some Deadly Tedley because I love Ted Nugent and some of his music, and just all kinds of different things. So I have there's typically a meaning behind my characters for
Yeah.
for that, and then I build them into what I feel would be their highest potential. That's what I enjoy most. How do I get the most out of this build?
The push.
That's really what I enjoy most. The push.
Yeah, 100%. It's a game that rewards that too, especially as we saw Arbiter down in 15 seconds. I'll do it.
That's buggy. That they're gonna. They already took care of that.
You think? We'll see. I think there's gonna be some crazy stuff this league. We'll see.
Oh, there will be. There always is because the number crunchers are gonna figure it all out, right? They're gonna sooner or later,
100% they are. Yes,
that's all right. That's part of it. So,
well, we had an awesome question from somebody in the chat here that relates back to you kind of being in technology all this time. So Grinding Gear Games currently has a very ambitious release schedule. So they're obviously doing a new Path of Exile 2 expansion every 4 months, and then the same with Path of Exile 1. So 2-month staggers for all their releases. Just a little bit of insight, like how crazy do you think that is?
So
is that too ambitious?
I don't think it is. No, I don't think so. And the reason why is because the advent of AI. There is a huge change in technology going on. Whoever is on here, AI is a real thing. I've been to some conferences recently and seen some things and done some things with AI related services that frankly, I'm scared of. So, I believe that they're probably they got to be using some of that because everybody's going to have to be competitive. You're going to have to use the AI capabilities in order to be competitive. And the development area is a prime area, especially animation and some of the other things that people do. They're going to be able to use those gaggles and agents.
Yeah.
You're going to have a whole bunch of agents, kind of like the Matrix. You got agents out there. They're all going to be programming. They're going to be doing all kinds of things. So who knows what the future is going to bring, but I think that they can stick to a very aggressive schedule using efficiencies that are being gained in the AI area, in the development area, because we are. We are in some of the areas that I am working on, and I've seen it demonstrated time and time again, the things that can be done with this tool set if it's properly managed, implemented, QA'd, and then implemented. And if they got it going on, yes, they can definitely meet it. Maybe exceed it once they learn it really well.
Right. This update is pretty big. It's far larger than I imagined with all the revamps and all the new content added.
It'd be interesting to know more about that, although it's, kind of maybe a taboo topic for developers right now because they're concerned, and I understand that. But the reality is the efficiencies gained out of these AI engines and the ability to use that technology, it's incredible, truly. It's like nothing I've ever seen, and I've been in this business 35 years. So it's a true revolution going on, and I'm glad I'm retiring.
I was going to say, guys, he's not even trying to shill or sell anything. He's retiring next year. So this isn't like, the AI is the blah, blah. No,
I'm out.
Not that. Yeah, he's out. He's like, it's crazy. So
when I go out, I'm going to be all the way out of technology, except for probably some gaming,
right.
Some traveling. Yeah. And I'll do a Starlink and keep in contact with things and use technology. I'll be a user of technology, not a technologist and cybersecurity guy and that kind of thing.
There you go. I think one of the biggest efficiencies that they could probably do with this once it's developed a little bit is quality assurance, or just testing lots of stuff faster so that it's less buggy. And maybe that leads to being able to put more content into all these updates too. So
load testing also is a huge piece of this. So you can load test things and understand what's going to happen in the resource utilization compared to the amount of traffic that you're going to have on the system.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody had a really good question going back to you mentioning Ted Nugent. What is your favorite Ted Nugent song?
There can be only one. It's the 50th anniversary, folks. I'm going to see him on the 31st. Stranglehold.
Oh, nice. There you go. That's a good one. It's a very long song. Very long
Sunday.
Song.
I'm at 6th row.
Oh, that's Sunday? You're going to see him on Sunday?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
yes,
I didn't know that. Oh my gosh.
And with the crew. With the old Neverwinter Nights crew's coming, man. The old time riders. We're gonna rock out.
and are you gonna? You said you were gonna name your character after one of his most popular songs too, because it's the bow. The bow.
I was trying, and then some of these people, everybody takes every good name. Here's an idea. how do I get my names tied to my user ID so I can use other names that other people have used, and somehow every name has to be unique.
People have been asking GGG for that for years. I'm lucky
Have you?
somebody
Yeah,
snabbed
yeah,
Talkative
yeah,
Tri for
yeah.
me when launch came
Yeah,
out.
how
So.
do they could do it, it's just in the background there, you know what I mean? Just a display thing compared to what's really in the background, a database. Yeah, they could do it.
Maybe it's possible. Hopefully,
Yeah,
it happens
somebody
in the
already
future.
had it, so I had to get a little different, a little creative. That's okay.
Freddie Barry, Freddie something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Freddie Barry, Barry Fred, the mystical flight of the arrow.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's
Absolutely.
good. That's going to be a good concert, and that's a good reason to take a break from PoE2. Go see
It
him.
is.
So I'm surprised he's still playing.
It's amazing, and he's spot on. He doesn't sing as well, but boy, he can wing that guitar, boys and girls. If you like, virtuoso guitar, watch Stranglehold. Actually, watch some of the reaction videos of the young folks that are in some of your genres, listening to Stranglehold for the first time, and they love music, and they're like, I've never heard of this person. What is this? And it'll remind you of Jimi Hendrix in a lot of ways, because 1968, 1970, 1975 is actually when Stranglehold came out, which is a minute ago. But boy, oh boy, was that a beautiful time to be around listening to rock and roll music.
Yeah, that Cat Scratch Fever, Fred Bear.
Yeah, all of those, Fred
Bear
Bear is, it's almost that time of year. October 1st is coming up.
I know.
Opening day.
Big hunter. What's your favorite thing to hunt for anybody who might be hunters in the chat?
I'm a whitetail primarily, but I like going out west now. I hunt on an Indian reservation and walk the hills of South Dakota and on some of the Native American lands, and I've been blessed to do that. And I help them. Sponsor some racing teams for some of the pony races that are out there, and try to give back while I'm there. And I really enjoy that. So that's the thing that I really like to do now, primarily because you can walk. And I really like to walk and stalk and walk through the hills in South Dakota by the Missouri River. It's just gorgeous out there. It's God's country. And I typically hunt alone, way out where nobody will ever find me. Try.
Hopefully, you're gonna be fine.
I'll die with a smile on my face.
No, you'll make it.
I'll have my bow in my hand.
You've gone through some crazy stuff, so I think you're gonna be good.
I probably will, and if not, that's okay. That's it is what it is. I've lived a great life, and I'm just so proud to have you as a son, as well as my other boy, and it's just a wonderful thing. Well, it's a blessing.
Thank you. You're segueing so well to my next topic, Dad. Thank you. I wanted to.
I didn't know that. What topic you got? Actually, I read some of the questions. I was like, whatever. I'll just wing it.
There you go. Just improvise entirely.
What I do.
So one thing that I really try to espouse right now, especially since I'm a dad and I have 2 daughters, is playing and gaming together as a family, and that's something we've always talked about, and we've been doing since I've literally can remember. I remember reading like Baldur's Gate dialogue when I was like 3-4 years old on your lap. So
and
I guess,
listening.
And and listening. So, and we've done that all the way up until now, right? We played D&D, we played Neverwinter Nights, Dungeons and Dragons Online, Guild Wars 2, all these different things. So just from your perspective as a dad, you're like 40 years older than me, speaking to a lot of people out there who I think are somewhat surprised, or maybe they just don't have that sort of interactions with their families. Maybe what would you recommend people do if they are seeking
create a gaming room where all the PCs that are gaming PCs are located, and everybody games together in that room. They do not go back into their room and get on their telephones and whatever they want to do. No reason to have a TV in your room. Take the phones away so they get sleep. It would be my advice, if you can get the phones out of their hands after a certain amount of time. But everybody game together in the same room, physically, together.
Yep.
And that, I think, it's one of my best memories. I've been a PC gamer my entire life, and consoles are fine around the whatever, as long as you're together in the same place, physically be together, and that because you're going to have plenty of time to game apart, aren't you?
Yeah, right. I know. True.
Like what we do now, right?
Yep.
Because everybody goes their separate ways, and sometimes distance becomes something like that, but it then keeps you together because you've got these roots of what Tri was just talking about. He's got these memories, these fond memories of us doing this together, and the Neverwinter Nights community that we were in, and all the different things that we've done over the years. It creates deep roots, and you don't want to uproot those as you age and become busy yourselves. You still spend time with your family.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, blood's thicker than anything.
Mhm.
Your family is everything to you. It's just the way it is for me anyways.
Yeah, I agree. Don't sell yourself out. Don't try to bond. You know, even if your father, your mother, brother, whatever, sister, they don't like games, give it a go. Try to find something that they like, because it can connect you literally anywhere you are. Play cards,
play Monopoly, Pinochle.
Right? There's so many different things that you can do. So I think it's just so important, and it's something that we can take. It's a lifelong thing. It's not something that like
a family that plays together stays together.
There you go. That's the saying.
You've heard that for a few years.
That's what I was fishing for. Exactly. All right, we have so many questions, Dad, from the audience. They're first of all, people are saying Dad Tries way better than Tri. We need a Dad Try YouTube channel. So there you go. It's decided. Okay. Oh, okay. This first question, Dad. I already know the answer. Dad, what boss in Path of Exile 2 gave you the most trouble when you fought it?
The end of Act 2. I can't even remember the guy's name after the Demonra. It was just bad. You know, first the elites, you know, you're on the dreadnought. They're coming at you in waves. You got to get past all that. Then you get the slide down. You know, there's just so many mechanics going on. You get the lightning. You know, I eventually got it. I did, but I had more deaths at that spot than combined anywhere else in the game.
Yep. I remember this very fondly. That he is an MFer. Like, he is crazy. He's crazy. So
you know, it's fun, and I enjoyed it. You know, it's my favorite fight. You know, it still is. It's actually, I like it better than the tier 4 bosses in many ways. The latest tier 4 sacrilege. How do you pronounce that?
Sekima?
No.
Trial of Chaos?
You know, the delirium, you get all that.
Simulacrum.
Simulacrum.
Yeah,
there you go. Simulacrum. Yeah. Now, tier 4 Simulacrum was my toughest go this last patch. But for bosses.
Yep. Demonra. All right. That's good.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, some people, and if you don't want to share, you don't have to share. A lot of people are curious about all the awards / diplomas behind you. What are those? They're hanging on the wall behind you.
I'm sorry about that. You just cut out for a minute here. What was it?
Oh, people, you don't have to answer if you don't want to. The awards / diplomas.
I was in the service for a very long time, and I'm a Gulf War veteran, and I am proud of that. Those are military awards. Those are Army commendation and several other things that I was awarded during my service.
Yep. That's where he met my mom in Germany over there. Yep. Came back
Deutschland.
Here. Yep, Deutschland. Yeah. When she was 17 or 18, right?
Hey, easy.
18.
I was only 23, man.
I know. Okay.
Yeah, we've been married a long time, you guys, and we're still in love.
Yep.
Deeply.
She hasn't tried Path of Exile 2 yet, though, guys.
She's not a gamer.
She's not a gamer.
She's a card player. She likes cards.
She plays board games.
She likes to play cards, board games, and stuff like that. But I can't get her into video. I've tried, and
I remember trying.
How about I knit? I'll watch and knit.
I remember trying with DDO. I remember trying with Neverwinter Nights. So
that's okay.
Give it a go.
I do name characters after her mom, and different things. So
that is true. All right. This is an obvious question, guys. He's a grinder. Loot filters. Dad, I remember you didn't use a loot filter. What was the difference pre-loot filter and post-loot filter when I showed you what a loot filter was in PoE2?
Yeah, it changed the way that I was able to, handle all the different material that's on the screen, and just let me enjoy the game so much more. And I use the different tiers now, and when I first start out, just clear it out, get everything you want, you can get as much gold as you can get. And then as I advance up, I'll clear those things off. So to me, it's at, it changes the way you play, no doubt, and you clear content much faster.
Oh, yeah.
And you're less distracted, because there becomes a point, even when you're a grinder like me, you become so wealthy, there is no reason to pick up all these things. Why pick up all these things? Even though, no loot is left behind. Remember, I said that earlier. No loot is left behind. But if I don't see the loot, I'm not leaving it behind, because, I never saw it.
If the loot wasn't in your filter, did it ever actually exist, Dad? Like, did it? I don't think so.
No, not to me. Because sometimes I'll shut it off and just see how much loot there is, and it's just everywhere.
It's crazy. It's egregious.
It is. Yeah, it's a great feature, and I'm glad the community does it, because I know that's not part of the game.
Right.
Whoever is putting that together, I compliment them.
Never sink. Shout out, fellow German.
He is. Yeah. Hey, man. Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
W never sink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm glad that you guys accepted that. You accepted it really fast. My brother, he pushed back against the loot filter for 3 weeks, and he's like, "I don't need a loot filter."
He's stubborn.
He's so
that's
stubborn.
His personality, man.
That's I couldn't believe it. And then he got it, and he's like, "Well, this is much better. You are actually correct." Yeah. So
you can customize it if there's something you want, or whatever. Just
exactly.
get in there. He's a coder. I mean, you want to talk about a developer? There you go.
Right. He could probably make his own custom loot filter. Pretty good.
Absolutely, he could.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Another interesting question from the chat. What was it like gaming in the 90s?
There was a transition that was going on, a technology jump in the 90s, and it really had to do with, feeding disks in a computer, and then a hard drive. Wow. Ooh. And then graphics. Ooh, RGB instead of black and white. So there was these advancements that kept pushing along, kind of like now. But I think the leaps were bigger at that time. Although there's a lot of back end things going on here, and then you got the VR and some of the other things that are going to take place. AI is going to be part of gaming, no doubt. So I see that there's going to be some jumps coming up. But in the 90s, there was a lot of advancements that were going on that I enjoyed a lot. And, it wasn't as socially acceptable. You were looked at a little bit differently in the 90s if you were a gamer than you are now. And I did it the whole time anyways, and didn't really care.
100%. That's
I'm going to do what I like.
Yeah, that's like when Baldur's Gate 1 came out, right? Was that 1999 or was it 98?
Yes, yeah. And, so. And they moved from, now you got a CD to load onto the hard drive. And now you don't have to put these, floppies in. A big change was modems, to get online. And now, we have a high-speed connection, and it kind of changes things at that point, and then allows you to do interactive stuff. Right. MMOs, things where people can all get together and do it instead of just doing it on your own, which was the original in the 80s. What was happening in the late 90s, you were able to actually get quote unquote online.
Yeah. Now, quick question on Neverwinter Nights. I'm actually curious about this. When you were the dungeon master of like Dragon Mountain, was there any like one encounter or memory that you remember running like that was just way above the rest? Any storyline?
Tiamat, because you could take control of the monsters, right? And Tiamat obviously is a god, and you could spawn, minions. Dragons, her heralds.
So cool.
And you could have your own avatar, right? Which mine was set.
I remember this so well.
Yeah. We had a mythos basically based area, and it was a desert area, and we built it around the Egyptian mythos. And my avatar was set, and as well as the summoning of Tiamat as well and her heralds against the players. And that was epic.
Truly epic.
They did not all die. They were smart enough to leave. People, there is this thing called retreat, believe it or not, back then.
Yeah. 100%.
You don't always press forward.
Yeah. You got to run away.
You must. I call it retrograde, which was reposition in a better offensive position. Retrograde.
There you go. Tying that into PoE2, the sprint. You're going to use the sprint, Dad?
Sprint.
Are you excited for that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Speed is the word. Come on.
How many times are you going to die,
one
though?
Of the reasons,
you're going to get
I don't know. I did pretty good last time around. I don't like that. I don't like respawning. There's not a big penalty yet. I think that that's something they probably will add to the game eventually, that there's a little more of a penalty when you do have to, when you go down. Like during the campaign, I think that there will be something that you have to pay along the way. Don't know what that is, but in different games, your armor gets broken, you have to repair it, and there's a gold sink. I would think eventually there may or may not be a mechanic that way. If they keep it right on the cusp like it is now, as difficult it is, maybe they'll leave it. Don't know how it'll all work out. But I do think it will cause you to get into worse positions from time to time. So you might want some escape skills, right, on this. And, there are escape skills also, but that might make its way onto the, oh, shit, button. Yeah, I need to get out of here right now, and vacate the area, whether that's escape shot or some other mechanic, flicker, or something else that you can move around and get yourself out of a bad situation that you've put yourself into because you were sprinting.
Exactly. Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. So it does have people down. Yeah. Now you touched on something there.
That's why I die, actually.
Exactly.
I just keep going and going. Nothing can stop me until it does.
You touched on something there with the multiple skills, like an escape skill. I'm curious. We haven't talked about this at all. So a big, controversial opinion between Path of Exile 1 players and PoE2 players, or the devs, I suppose, is one button builds versus builds that require multiple buttons and combo skills. What are your thoughts there? What do you prefer?
I like to challenge a combo skills. One button builds are boring, to
Lightning
me,
spear.
It's kind of like a first, Lightning spear it was, but there was other, things that you could do. You didn't have to just do that.
Okay.
There's things that you could do. And I think that they should push towards combos, not so complex that it gets into, keyboard magic, like you're playing a piano,
right.
But, having some, ways, maybe you reward it. Maybe, the one buttoners can get you through the game or help you through the game, but you're not going to be as rewarded with the finisher, right? That then, and at one time I did play DC Universe. I don't know if you ever got into that one with me or not.
I remember,
but there was a lot of that in DC Universe, where it's all built around, the Marvel heroes, and you build characters and all sorts of different things in that, which is kind of a cool game. It really was. And it's more of an MMO, more like Guild Wars or something like that. So, but I think they should give more rewards for more skilled players, and it is more skill to use combinations and building up combinations. It would be neat, if they would, put something together where party play, you could do some combos between players of some sort, which is kind of a neat thing, and I think you can do some of that right now if you put down a flame and then you shoot through the flame, then you get, the added bonus because it's in the environment. But I think there's some other things that can be done. But right now they've got their hands full with just get a full game out, get the basics done, get everything balanced. And then these are all advanced things that may or may not come in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Now, just a few more questions before we can sign off here. One thing that I always ask all my guests, Dad, is if you were Jonathan Rogers, game director, or Mark Roberts, the other game director on Path of Exile 2, and you could design a new league or a mechanic or an expansion, what would its theme be, or a feature within it? What would you add? If
you already know.
Do it. Go for it.
Dragons. Where are the dragons? Maybe they don't exist. And I really like their kind of their mythos. I've divulged into that. You've had some guests on that have educated me on that, and I've done some reading on that. I'm surprised. Is there any spin-off books yet on their actual realm and what they are doing here? Or is this just something they've fantasized and kind of brought up from their role-playing experiences or something of that nature? But it's very creative. Is there anything out there that would be dragon-ish?
There are dragons in Path of Exile 1. Yeah, they're deep underground. They're in something called Delve. So that's the only place. It's actually kind of funny that you say that.
That's the league.
There you go. Chris Wilson,
the depths of dragons. The depths of into the depths.
They originally said they don't want Rayclass to have dragons at all. They said no dragons. That's not our world. That's not our game.
Okay,
And then
that's all right.
no, but then they added them in, so they're there. There's microtransactions with dragons. There's the dragons in
Hey.
Delve, so I think that it's possible. There's actually it's back there. There's a dragon, I think, in Act 4. So we might be
we're
getting
going to
cool
find
dragon.
out. Maybe.
Literally.
Hey,
Yep.
I was born in the year of the dragons. My
Mhm.
high school mascot was dragons. And when I was in the service, I was in the Chemical Corps, which is dragons.
Dragons. Nice. See?
My favorite game is Dungeons and Dragons.
There you
So
go.
if PoE had, Dad Try, let's have some dragons.
Hopefully they're listening and we get some dragons soon. Dad,
I doubt it, but that's
it's
all right.
possible. It's possible. Dad, did you have anything else that you wanted to talk about? Any questions from me? Anything you wanted to answer? Or...
No, I think it's been really, really a fun 6 months, and I look forward to many years of gaming on this platform. I really enjoy it, so I'm excited to see what the future brings. I think it's got a bright future and long run. I really do, and I think they're going to expand their footprint. They're going to get more people like me, like my friends and other folks that I know that may not have as much time to dedicate. And I know it's a hardcore game, and I get that, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's hardcore players, do that hardcore, but don't exclude other folks that may have gamed a few years in the past, like for 30 or so, and let us in too a little bit every once in a while.
I could not have said it better myself, Dad. I've been slightly reading the chat. People absolutely loved it. I mean, Dad, this was great. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you guys all so much for watching. You can check out my dad nowhere because he's not a content creator, all right?
I'm not.
He's not. So you can't check him out anywhere. But if you want to see him again on the podcast, you can like the video. You can leave a comment below.
Try.
Right? Come on. 'Cause that was really fun, Dad. I think we got to do it again. Get your reactions on how 0.3 plays out. This is really insightful conversation, and I really love that you came on. Thank you for agreeing to do this.
Absolutely.
I don't think everybody would agree to do this at all. So it's pretty cool that you came on the podcast.
I'm here to support the try.
Thanks, Dad. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. Signing off.
Long.
Bye.
Later off.
All right. That's the cut. And he's out. Look at him. He just went right out.